Well, it's good to see everybody. Thanks for being here. Very, very excited about kicking off this season. Of course, it's been a process of getting to this point. Had a closed-door scrimmage, got to play under the lights for the first time the other day. In both situations, had some good moments, and both situations had some times of struggle, and that's where the growth really comes, and we're looking to continue to grow. I spoke with Coach Ken Hayes today. We're going to be honoring him on Monday against Northeastern State. He actually came by the office, and thrilled to welcome him, his family, his former players, both here at TU and Northeastern State. And we know that we're going to get a very well-coached, hard-playing team from Coach Havens. And so we've got 4 days to improve, get ready, and continue to grow. And that's what this thing is all about.
All right, guys, questions? Michael?
What was your evaluation of the exhibition game?
Definitely up and down. Of course, we took that 17-point lead, and we did some things. I thought we absolutely took the foot off the gas. Very disappointed in our connection from a communication standpoint. Disappointed in the grittiness of us guarding the basketball. We gave up 18 offensive rebounds. There was a number of shots to rebound. We got 67% of them. Our goal is to be over 75%. So we fell short there. And then most disappointed in the way that we took care of the basketball. We turned it over 20% of the time. It's way too many. However, being put in those situations and having to design a play to get a three at the end and be able to steal the ball and send it to overtime, those things are really invaluable. And in exhibition games, you always want to play well. You want to play hard, you want to play great, you want to play clean. But to be able to struggle and be exposed in areas is really good for the film session today. And we're going to use it to its full extent.
You talked, I guess, when we first talked here about maybe being more of a three-point shooting team, a little bit less of a penetration team as you were or had to be by kind of by happenstance last year. Did that materialize? You didn't shoot the three particularly well in the exhibition game. How close to what you want to do offensively was what we saw the other night?
Yeah, I hope we don't look like that again. So that, let me be clear there. We were 10 of 20 from three in our closed-door scrimmage against a good defensive team. I was encouraged by that. I want to give Missouri S&T and Coach Walker credit. Not only did they fight themselves back into the game, they did it with some pressure, some taking some passes away. I thought our guys got really passive. I also thought we had these deer in headlights type moments where we were, man, I can't believe he's there, and we faked each other out on some just simple pass and catches. I thought we took some tough shots early that all of a sudden entered in our brains of like, oh man, maybe tonight's not my night, and we lost a little bit of confidence, which we shouldn't. We've got some good shooters on this team. We got to select the right ones. I thought we missed some plays as we started to feel a little bit of the pressure of, hey, we got to figure this out. We got to all of a sudden get back to what we were doing, and didn't play very well. But yeah, that's not the version of offense that we've been seeing in practice and in the other scrimmage, and we got to be able to be a whole lot better than that.
You talked after the game about playing a small lineup. Obviously, you have a couple of your big guys out. Talk a little bit about guys that are out and how they're doing, but also the challenge of playing with a small lineup.
Yeah, so we've got to improve, and we just had an extensive staff meeting today just talking about looking at all the offensive rebounds we gave up, talking about some of the schematic things that we're been doing. Do we need to make adjustments there? But there is, no matter what you do, there is going to be a physical contact that needs to take place. And we track blockout percentages, check percentages, and we fell short on all those goals. So there is a process into. It's easy to say, hey, they had 18 offensive rebounds. Well, it was a 45-minute game. There were a lot of shots to get. We got 67% of them. We need to improve that. How do we do that? Well, then there's a process of blocking out, checking certain guys, and it needs to be everybody. It can't be 3 out of 4, and all of a sudden it fall into that guy's hands. So at our current roster makeup, we've got to just be better. We've got to be more physical. We've got to be nastier. And then Jared Garcia and Justin Amati, they're on different timelines. We're hoping to have them back in the near future. When, still remains to be seen. But both of those guys, we certainly would expect to help us on the backboards and just in that interior play.
I know you're disappointed with the way that they played, but how much of the percentages are skewed a little bit because in your mind you know, hey, this is our first time out? Does that kind of factor into what your evaluation is after the game is over?
Yeah, there's a lot of things in it. Like, I first go back philosophically. Like, we get 2 opportunities in the preseason, and you could do it a number of different ways. Some teams are playing 2 of these. Some of them are doing 2 closed-door scrimmages. I like doing 1-and-1. I think there's so much value in the guys were super amped up. The shoot-around was really lively. The practices leading up, like, there was excitement to play in front of people for the first time. We have a lot of new faces. We have young guys expanding roles. We have some guys that are in a Division I game for the first time and playing in front of people. Give us all a chance to go through that pregame, and it also gives us a chance to have that exposure to the moments of, man, people are watching this right now, and we're not playing very well, and how do we respond? So I've been a believer in. I'm so happy we didn't play somebody and just win by 60 and it just be a snoozer and have this sense of, hey, like, we're unstoppable. Like, I think struggle's good. I would have liked to have been better in certain areas, but being able to have this video and show it and what went wrong and what went right too is really, really important.
I was going to ask what went right. I think all of us have the tendency sometimes to fall on the negative side of things, but what went right in the moments that you saw?
Well, we had 4 guys in double figures. We had a really good performance from Dwan Odom. He was 8 of 14 from the field. He was 1 of 3 from 3, and if you look at his history, he's not been really much of a 3-point shooter. It's something that we're expanding upon. We had some execution that was nice. Matt Reed caught a lob dunk on a play that he's never done before, as you all know, and Jay Nash delivered to it beautifully, and then he came right back and ran it again, and they guarded it a little differently, and Jay got to the basket. So there's things that we can look at and say, hey, let's continue this. There was a couple of plays in transition. Honestly, there was a number of shots we missed that were like, hey, this is exactly what we want. We just got to do this again. But I thought we broke our own rhythm a good number of times of maybe getting a little bit excited, a little bit amped up, shooting a shot a little bit quick. I just thought that we got off to a 17-point lead, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we let back a little bit, and defensively especially. In the second half, they score at a 1.08 points per possession, and we were turning the basketball over, and we really needed to show more poise than that.
With PJ leaving and also losing Kobe, you kind of lose the 2 main ball handlers that kind of initiated stuff last year. How do you feel about the point of attack for this team?
So this is a team that, in both our closed-door scrimmage and this exhibition the other night, we had 4 and 5 guys in double figures. And I think that could be a real strength. We're looking to have a balanced attack, figuring out, like, who has the ball in their hands at the very end of the game and so forth. Like, some of that is going to happen, and we're going to keep researching and figuring out, like, what guys are best at. But I think between Tyshawn Archie, Dwan Odom, Jay Nash, we've got 3 guys that you could call point guards. And then in Keyston Willis and Braden Carrington, you've got secondary ball handlers too that can really stretch the floor. So we want to play a very versatile, balanced attack and have a number of different guys that it could be their night. I would love to be talking to you all in April and say, hey, this team was really good because you just didn't know whose night it was, because you got a lot of guys that it could be their night.
I feel like oftentimes in recruiting you build towards a certain model that you want to play, but sometimes when you get into camp and you actually see kind of in competition, it changes a little bit. Has this team played to the style like in camp that you were hoping to envision to kind of build them around, or are they going to be a little bit different than kind of what the initial thought process was when you put together the roster?
Yeah, I think you going in, you have an evaluation or an opinion, or in my case, a conviction of how the game can be best won, and play a style that mirrors that. And then you try to go out and find the different personnel pieces that fit with the guys coming back and so forth. And then, of course, you handle injury and you figure out you might have to change. And we're in that phase right now where we're a little bit smaller than what I thought we'd be, and we've got to adjust. However, I do think we have a level of versatility that we haven't had here. And for pass dribbling and shooting, it didn't exhibit itself correctly the other night, but I do think that we've got some guys that can do a number of different things, and we just got to continue to put them in good positions. We've got to be able to play off our defense better. The number of stops we got, even the rebounds that we secured, I didn't think that we played in transition well enough, but we've got some good video for that, and we're going to keep getting better at it.
In your experience as a coach, when you have a player like Keon who missed most of last season, not all of it, played in a couple games, but missed most of it, how long does it take a player like that any time to sort of like get rid of the rust from almost missing an entire year of game competition? And how do you feel that Keon is doing along those lines?
Yeah, I think he's doing fine. I mean, he didn't have a good game the other night from the field and so forth, but he's been in enough situations. I do think there is a little bit of a process, whether it's a guy years ago when they would sit out on a transfer or have an injury, especially with an injury of just really getting into the swing of things. I think what it shows, too, is no matter if you're a freshman or a 60-year senior, there's butterflies. Guys are invested. They want to do well. There was a discovery for all of us, and he's one of those guys that he missed some shots from the perimeter that I'll take 10 out of 10 times from him.
In this first game, do you envision yourself opening up the bench a little bit more and kind of trying some different rotations and stuff like that just to see kind of what you have, or do you kind of want to stick to a certain game plan going in?
Well, we played 9 guys the other day. All 9 were in double-figure minutes or more. We only have 10 scholarship guys available right now, and so we're basically playing everybody, and we continue to evaluate that. And we want to have a strength in numbers. We just don't have a lot of numbers right now. But even so forth, playing 9 guys at that many minutes is a little bit deeper than some teams play. Some you'll see 7 or 8 and just roll with those guys. But we had, I believe it was 5 guys over 30 minutes, and with a 6th like at 28 in an overtime game. So, and then with 3 other guys in that 11 to 15 minute range. We want to continue to build depth. We've got to get experience for Jay Nash and Ian Schmeichel. We do think those guys are going to help us. And then we just want to continue to build, even from a Tyler Barron. He didn't appear the other night, but he's growing and getting better. Just a coach's decision there, but we think that he's a guy that can continue to grow and help us. But yeah, we want to play with a spirited group that everybody is ready to go when their name is called.
Nash and Schmeichel, that you've mentioned them specifically, one of the things I think that you've mentioned about them is their level of maturity. They don't really act like freshmen at all. How much has that helped them through this process to getting to this point in their development?
They're both great guys, number one. Like, they're fun to be around. They're energetic. They have way more questions than answers. They're sponges to try to learn and get better. They're totally committed to improvement. And they're physically ready. Like, they're stronger guys. And Ian said the other day is like he's so effervescent with just his communication. Like, Ian, what'd you think? He's like, there's a lot different playing in front of people. That was really fast. Like, he'll talk and these are the moments. Like, you have freshmen, and we're going to be counting on these 2 freshmen to help us. And I thought they both did some nice things. They both clearly made some mistakes, like everybody, and we're just going to keep chipping away at getting better. But it was good that there was struggle for them, for our whole team. Like, we're going to use this as a positive.